On this episode of Negative Modifier, we'll be playing the game Deltagreen. Deltagreen is a mature tabletop RPG that tackles various dark and unsettling themes and topics that some listeners may find traumatizing, harmful, or generally uncomfortable. Listener discretion is advised. All right, so you've all met back up. Where are you going to go off to now? You got a couple leads. You could also go try and track down some D batteries. You have a car. I guess also worth mentioning, you do have a cop you talk to, and you are here under a kind of guise of official law enforcement. Like, the tragedy of the house exploding does give you an in with local law enforcement as well.
Well, I would say to not worry about D batteries until later, because the radio, I think, has a specific time frame in which it needs to be tuned into. It was around like noon, if I recall. Is that right?
Yes. That Manfred would stop by, I think, almost every day, and they would listen to the radio around noon.
You were told that Edward was very punctual about always kind of disappearing a little bit before noon.
Okay.
For, quote, his radio show.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, at this point, it's already past noon, so we can't really do the D-battery noon thing. But you said it was the afternoon, but still daylight. So I was assuming, what was it, like 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon kind of thing?
Yeah, something around then at least, yeah.
Yeah, because patrons are still walking around, so it's not like lights out.
On that same note, you were given the warning, though, about how the higher security area gets a little bit, maybe not dangerous, but uncomfortable after sundown.
Yes. Sundown rule.
That does kind of intrigue me as to like why it's uncomfortable. I think that's something worth exploring.
I mean, Dr. Edelman, the kind of on-site doctor, might not be a bad person to approach with questions about that.
Yeah. I mean, we can go talk to Edelman. We could, it will let us burn some time while they're still working on getting us those logs, the security footage, and that voicemail. So could be a good way to burn some time in the meantime anyway.
Yeah, I think it's worth a shot to talk to the doctor. Do you think with this specific site, are all his medical files digitized, or do you think he keeps physical ones?
I mean, there's only one way to know for sure, and that's by going over and asking him at this point.
All right. So in terms of just information gathering, just in case, I just want to make sure that if any of us just accidentally ends up taking something that we shouldn't, is that on the table, or are we keeping this strictly just a discussion and we'll figure that out later?
I mean, I think at this point, we can only play it by ear, and if it's discussion, it's discussion. If it needs to escalate from that, it will. But
all right. Who's driving the golf cart?
I mean, you have no idea where the doctor is located yet, even.
That is also a good question. Should we head back to the front and just see whether or not we can get information on the doctor? Or do you think that would be on like a map?
I mean, I'm assuming the doctor's is somewhere near the front office.
Yeah. So the way these places typically work, if they have on-site doctors, is the doctor's more of almost an administrator of some kind. Lots of the doctoring is done via nurses. Like, this isn't like true doctoring. Like, there's an emergency or something, they'll handle it, but it's lots of kind of pill and treatment tracking as opposed to more hands-on doctoring, if that makes any sense. There's probably a medical facility of some type on the premises, but also this is a retirement community, not a medical facility, I guess is the way of thinking of it.
Well, you guys want to go talk to the doctor? We should skedaddle. Or unless there's anything else you guys want to keep looking around here for. But did you find anything, speaking of which?
Well, I can't think of anything else. So, I mean, I'm down to go have a word with Dr. Edelman.
Go.
All right, cool. Well, let's go.
That's going to track down the doctor?
Yeah.
Doesn't take too long. You ask a couple people, and after they kind of like establish that you actually have credentials, they guide you to the third floor of the building you're in, which is indeed kind of like a part kind of medical waiting room or kind of doctor's office, and part more like administration type of thing. It has a window for meds and stuff like that. It would handle almost all of the kind of like day-to-day medical aspects of things. Maybe some, it's kind of based on the waiting room type setup, some of the more basic stuff. But yeah, this is not a full-on doctor office, but you wait there for a few minutes and eventually you get kind of called back, and a man roughly mid to late 30s looking at you, balding slightly, a little bit overweight, but has kind of a almost a lanky build despite the overweightness, dark hair, glasses, average height. Looks a little bit sweaty, just like he's not handling the Florida warmth all that well. Can I help you?
Yeah, hey, we wanted to chat with you for a bit if you have a couple minutes.
Yes, that's what I assumed. I suspected you might be stopping by. I assume you are I've glanced at some notes on his desk, ATF agents.
Yeah, that would be us.
Tragic what happened with Mr. Ackerman, but he was making, in the last year or so, some remarkable improvements. It's a damn shame. I'm not sure which of my treatments have been working on him, but he was showing marked signs of improvement. Some of his physical vitality was returning. Some of his cognitive issues were lessening as well.
So he's been making some progress, and so, okay, well, that's good. Was he pretty social? Like, was he getting better at socializing, or?
Oh, God, no. Despite improvements, the man was, at best, barely there most of the time. Physically, he was capable of moving some on his own, but often with, let's just say, not a lot of speed, and more often than not, a wheelchair is required for him to make appointments. The man was 101 years old, after all. Most people don't live that long, let alone sustain themselves that well. Kind of glances around the room some. Especially not any of our special patients.
Special patients?
Oh, you know, the redacted ones, the ones that get dropped on us with a heavy smattering of PTSD by some covert U.S. agency.
Well, if you are in the know regarding that by any chance.
Kind of raises an eye. I've just assumed that they're unfortunate souls that are too PTSD'd to be allowed into normal society after covert work. What do you mean in the know?
You know, like as a doctor or anything else like that, what is it? Other people are constantly talking about just like, oh my gosh, like these folks who have experienced so much or whatnot, but you don't like put in the unnecessary emotional turmoil in it, that sort of stuff. So like we're here in terms of facts, and I'm here just trying to figure out like, you know, what kind of progression or anything else of the sort Edward Ackerman was kind of experiencing. Now, I don't think that there is any kind of violation when it comes to patient confidentiality if the patient's already dead. Do you think we can get those records? I just want to check something.
Kind of raises an eye at you. Are you implying that Mr. Ackerman's medical history might in some way, shape, or form be relevant to his home blowing up?
Yes. Just in case if any kind of behavioral issues has led him to set up any kind of situations where that could lead to that.
The man could barely lift a fork, let alone a chess piece, let alone write his name.
That's why I think it is of particular interest, at least to me, as to how, you know, he might have had any kind of involvement in this terrible, terrible accident.
How about this? You ask me questions and I'll tell you if there's anything potentially relevant in his medical history that might relate to that. The man is dead. I don't particularly feel like dragging one of our oldest residents' name through the muck, if unnecessary. Also, this is a slight gray zone.
Are you familiar with his relationship with other residents here? Like how well he got along with, I think, Manfred was one of the...
Yes, Mr. Newman. Yes, a bit of a strange friendship, but my understanding is they're both war veterans of some type. I think Mr. Newman served in the Vietnam War or something along those lines. But yes, they'd play chess every once in a while or more. Mr. Newman would play chess, and if I'm being honest, Mr. Ackerman would stare at the pieces. I think it was mostly a charity from Mr. Newman.
And Mr. Newman is here.
He is a resident of Emerald Estates, but he's not one of our higher risk residents. He lives in one of the off-premise properties.
Do you by any chance have his address?
I'm sure you can get it from downstairs. All housing is technically owned by Emerald Estates, so we keep a log of all of these things. That being said, without warrants, I suspect you may find it hard to enter. We do offer, basic privacy to our residents here.
I mean, that's true, but when you have certain suspicions, I mean, we are allowed to investigate. And
are you accusing a 60 or 70-year-old man of blowing up Mr. Ackerman's house?
Maybe not on purpose.
Nothing's off the table.
Kind of rubs his forehead some in an exasperated way. Kind of casts your glance around the room with an exasperated kind of hand gesture. The offices of Dr. Asher Edelman are not lavish or expansive type of thing. His office is pretty bare bones. It's furnished with what could be best described as retirement home staff utility gray furniture across the board. There's a certain Spartanness to this space, and why any doctor would choose to work here as opposed to anywhere else might raise some questions, but at the same time, he is working here after all type of thing. This is not the furnishings of a well-to-do man or a kind of you're not seeing lots of personal effects or anything like that. The facilities are kind of fine. They're not amazing, but they are fine. Kind of diplomas on the wall, et cetera, nothing extravagant. Again, if you had to put a word on everything you're seeing, it would be fine. So let me get this straight. You think an 101-year-old man and his younger but still elderly friend conspired to blow up the older man's house.
That is a rumor that we had received from one of the residents. And while it is far-fetched, it is something that is required of us to investigate.
Oh, rumors amongst the residents, is it? What other rumors have you heard? Have you heard about how Jan thinks there are monsters that live in the shadows? Or how Victoria won't go on about her special friend that comes to her at night? These are not well people, agents. They are, in the kindest way possible, not all there. Mr. Ackerman was barely there. I'm not going to mince words on this as to further drive this point home. By most human definitions, it might be polite to refer to Mr. Ackerman as mostly dead. His body has now just caught up with the rest of him. From a purely medical standpoint, there was not a part of that man's brain that wasn't concussed or worse.
I'm kind of looking at him, very pensive. I'm also looking around the room. You said it was very Spartan. Is it any kind of filing cabinets or anything else like that around?
Yeah, there's stuff like that, yeah.
Right.
But the basics. There's a computer on his desk next to him type of thing. All the basic furnishings of a doctor's office are present.
Okay. Honestly, I'm a little caught up on the whole fact that it's we have an entire smorgasbord of red herring possibilities just because it is a retirement home where not everyone has full cognition. But as Delta Green agents, monsters that live in the shadows and a special friend who visits somebody at night does sound plausible. And so does the opinions of a educated doctor specializing in octogenarian health.
Are we happy with the doctor's cooperation, or do we want to try to get him to back off? What's the play here?
Dr. Edelman, when was the last time that you saw Mr. Ackerman by chance?
Oh, probably about a week or two ago. He's been on the same regiment for quite some time. The normal stuff, outdoor time, medication to kind of keep him going. Honestly, Mr. Newman's involvement made the whole thing a lot easier. He provided the daily prescribed stimuli, if you will, someone to talk to, something to try and get the neurons firing, if that makes any sense. The biggest challenge we face here is keeping the residents engaged and have time to drift.
All right. And part of his daily routines, do you by chance know what time he usually turned in for the night? I've also heard something from some of the employees that the higher security area does get a little interesting once the sun sets.
Oh, they're going on about that still. Yes, it does, but not in the way they're implying. What do you know about the cognitively impaired, Miss?
Not very much, to be quite honest. That's not something that was, I guess, in my forte.
Well, yes, there are a variety of stimuli that result in interesting side effects. There's a concept referred to as sundowning, where a variety of people with similar cognitive issues, as the sun sets, so does their higher functioning ability. There are a variety of theories on this. I often describe it to people such as yourself as it's kind of like their brain is partially asleep. It's not even remotely like that in actuality, but think of it kind of this way. When you fall asleep, your brain separates from your body some for your own protection. It is similar to that. There are a variety of theories on what causes the separation to happen. I've always assumed it's something kind of along those lines. The light setting is simply a trigger, a common enough trigger that we advise staff that are going to be working here during that time span to just operate with extra calm. It's not like fucking werewolves start prowling the premises. Is it a problem occasionally? Yes. Do some residents suddenly have increased memory lapses or changes in behavior? Yes, I will be honest about that. But it's not some special, spooky, supernatural thing going here. It is just a sad reality of the types of patients we have here.
Now, this might be getting a little bit more into Mr. Ackerman's personal life, but his cognitive functions during the day and nighttime, or at least just his activities and stuff like that, have they been pretty consistent in terms of functionality, or has he acted out in any kind of way?
As I mentioned, the man is 101 years old. Even if he had tried to act out, his physical ability to do so would have been dramatically limited. The man's body almost matches his mind in the amount of wear and tear put upon it.
Gotcha.
I may be overstepping my bounds some, but you may have been told the man was a war hero. He has served in numerous armed conflicts throughout U.S. history. The fact he has any bones left, given the amount of intervention required, as best I can tell, is a bit of a miracle. But with that being said, every single thing that could degrade, degraded. What makes your knees move, what makes your elbows move, the material between your spinal discs, all indicative of not just an 101-year-old, but an 101-year-old that lived a rough and tumble life and then some. I can only assume the man lived in near constant pain to some extent.
Well, thank you, Dr. Edelman. I feel like I kind of have a better profile or a better understanding of Mr. Ackerman and just kind of the situation that could have led to this unfortunate accident.
If you'd like a good example of just how stark some of this cognitive decline can affect a person, I would recommend you talk to our resident, Victoria Neffely, today during the day and coming back later on tonight. Maybe if you're lucky, she'll tell you about her great-great-grandmother, Alexandra.
And Victoria, is she usually found on the grounds, or does she have like a specific location that she favors?
She is found almost exclusively in her apartment in this building. She is one of our high risk would be the wrong phrase, but less mobile residents. She's one of the, I'm not quite sure how, but the special group that apparently Mr. Ackerman belonged to.
Special group? Like a little clique and whatnot? They just had like a circle of friends that they just...
You misunderstand my meaning. The ones that the ones that seem to come to us with extreme post-traumatic stress, amongst other things.
I see. Okay. Well, boys, do you have any questions?
No, not really.
Not from me, no.
Well, Dr. Edelman, I think we might take you up on that offer just to get a better psychological profile on Mr. Ackerman.
I'm not sure how talking to Victoria will really help you with the profiling, but I suspect it will be a useful learning experience. I can have one of the nurses set this up for you.
Yeah, that would be very helpful.
Presses a button on his phone and kind of makes an intercom sound. Marshall, And can you come and give our guests a guided tour up to Victoria's apartment? A couple seconds pass, and you hear, "Yeah, okay." Will takes his finger off the phone. Nurse Clark will be up here in a minute to guide you to Victoria's apartment. In the meantime, is there anything else I can help with? My hands are slightly bound by the whole, being a doctor aspect of these things.
I mean, understandable. I get it.
No, I think we're good for the time being. We've asked the questions that we need to ask at the moment. Your office hours, are you here every single day of the week, or by chance do you have like a specific time frame that you will not be available for further contact?
I'm here during normal hours during the week, and then for a few hours each afternoon on the weekends. If you need anything special, you can have Miss Gallardo get in contact with me. I am technically a full-time service here, as the position requires. I try to get out of here when I can, though. This job can be a lot some days.
I see. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to go ahead and wait outside for the nurse to arrive.
Everyone else following suit or no?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you go back out to the waiting room, a couple minutes pass, and then the door opens, and a man, early 30s, walks in. He is skinny, like almost emaciated levels of skinny, very sharp facial features, very sharp, kind of overly stylized or overly shaped facial hair. He also has bleach blonde hair gelled up into kind of a spiky almost look, and under his nurse's scrubs, he's wearing kind of just some white long sleeve shirt type of thing to cover up his arms and stuff like that. And he kind of, as he looks at you, he smiles and shows off kind of 3 gold teeth, the right incisor and 2 neighboring teeth to it kind of thing, and goes, "You're the people I'm giving the guided tour of Victoria's residence?"
That is correct.
Sends a hand. "Nurse Marshall Clark, pleasure to meet you."
I put my hand out and shook his hand. "Hi, nice to meet you."
What is the same?
He has a strong but bony grip. There's a bit of an air to him. "Well, all right, we're going up a few floors. People warn you about Victoria? Are you in for the full, unadulterated kind of freak show on this one?"
Hey, give me the full freak show. It'll be fun.
"All right, my man. All right." Kind of leads you up to the elevator. You go up to the 9th floor. He goes, "Okay, so did people explain how this building works to you yet?"
No.
All right, so basically this is the high-risk tower. Most of the people in the tower here, I'm not going to say we lock them in their rooms, but getting out of the rooms is a little bit more complicated. I'll open the door for you. When you want to get out, just knock on the door and I can let you out. They're not prisoners or anything like that. It's easy enough to get out if you're in an emergency situation, but they're kind of confined to their rooms. Not that most of them are trying to wander the halls or anything for their own good. Between you and me, some weird shit can happen on these floors. Kind of leads you from the elevator down a hallway to one of the many doors and kind of knocks on it. "Yo, Victoria, we got some guests for you." Puts a key in the door, unlocks it, and kind of swings it in. "Like I said, knock on the door when you want out."
What do you mean by weird shit?
Kind of smiles at you. "We'll talk after you meet Victoria."
All right.
You all go to the room?
Yep.
Yeah, so Victoria's room is bare bones medical. There is a medical bed, some basic kind of equipment around the room, a dresser. Like there are some basic kind of homey furnishings, but there's basically nothing human here. Like it's all whatever came with the room, and just kind of sitting dead center of the room where the light comes through the window of the room is a kind of hard to place aged woman, 65, 70, just sitting in a very kind of like medical standard issue rocking chair, a blanket over her lap, just staring right at you, but also kind of like just out the door or at the door when it was closed type of thing. She does not acknowledge your presence at all. And Nurse Clark is kind of holding the door open and kind of like gestures with his not outstretched hand. "Come on, one at a time. Meet the wonderful Victoria."
I'll go ahead and walk in first and kind of get close enough, but not too close to like startle.
Yeah.
Any reaction for me getting closer?
No.
No?
Everyone else going after him or no?
I'll pop in as well.
I'll go in, yeah.
Yeah. So as you walk into the room, you pass the kind of sign with its door number on it and the resident name Victoria Neffley is on the door type of thing, assuming that's her name, et cetera, and enter the room. And then Clark kind of closes the door behind you with a gentle locking sound as it closes. And Victoria does not respond to you at all. And now that you're kind of closer and looking at her, again, you're having a kind of hard time placing her. There's something a little bit weird about her appearance. And there's kind of like almost a stretched look to her skin. Like her bones are incredibly visible. Like there are severe signs of emaciation in her appearance. It's almost like it's kind of like almost like an artist stretched her skin over the meat and bones of her skeleton, but also like you could achieve this by extreme hunger. She has thin gray hair and milky green eyes that just kind of dart around the general vicinity of where you came in, not really focusing on anything. She's wearing one bunny slipper that's kind of a pink faded red, and another mismatched bunny slipper that's kind of a faded blue.
I would say based off like her, what do you call it? Her eye movements and all that stuff. Like, I do like a human int to see if she's under duress.
Absolutely can.
9 out of 60 success.
Yeah, so her behavior is weird, but also you don't know enough about her to kind of make any informed decisions about it. Like, if you had to pick a kind of general assumption off of this, she seems nervous. Like there's a tenseness to her, like that she's like visibly on edge, but like there's nothing around that's obviously putting her on edge or something like that. Maybe it's a paranoia thing. You have no way of knowing. But there's a very palpable kind of like tenseness to her. Like you can see it in her entire body. Now that you're looking at her in more details, like her hands aren't resting on the arms of the rocking chair. They're kind of like gripping it. You can see the tendons kind of tensed and stuff like that. She's probably not comfortable based off this type of body position, but like she seems very adherent to it. And also she really hasn't registered that you're there.
Oh my gosh. I am so sorry, Miss Victoria. It's so rude of us to not have introduced myself. My name is Rin. It's very good to meet you today.
Her eyes kind of snap to you for a second, then go back to kind of frantically searching the general area of the door.
We are friends of a Mr. Ackerman. Do you know Edward by chance?
Again, her eyes kind of snap to you for a split second, then go back to frantically searching the general door vicinity.
Quick question. Is the nurse near the door?
He is outside.
Okay. I'm going to pull up a chair and sit in front of her. And I'm going to try to like read her kind of her vibe, or just, try to get a read on her, like see if she follows me like with her eyes and stuff like that. But just try to get an idea.
Yeah, when you pick up the chair, her eyes snap to you for a second, then go back to kind of frantically searching the door.
Hi, Miss Neffley. Is there something at the door? And I kind of just start gesturing towards the door to see if I can get some kind of response out of her.
So when you talk, her eyes snap to you for a split second, then kind of follow your hand, and then go back to kind of frantically tracking around the door.
Okay. Noticing this, I'm going to get up for a moment and then like go to the, like, I guess more towards the opposite side of the door and see if I can get her attention away from the door, or just to see if she like goes back immediately to focusing on the door.
I mean, like she tracks your motion for a second, like maybe as you're kind of moving across, she goes back to the door almost immediately.
And then what time is it roughly right now?
We'll say like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, definitely kind of thing, like early afternoon.
Okay, but not sundown.
Not sundown yet.
Okay. Miss Neffley, do you want to go outside?
Again, you talk, her eyes snap to you for a split second, then go back to the door and kind of continue kind of not focused tracking the door.
I feel weird that we're trying to trigger this woman into like some sort of specific reaction, but at the same time, Agent Query leads in with, so Nurse Marshall Clark was kind enough to guide us to your room to meet you today. Do you know Nurse Clark? Is he have you worked with that nurse before?
You talk, she looks at you for a split second, then goes back to kind of frantically looking at the door.
Okay.
Is there a wheelchair in the room by any chance?
Yeah, there's probably one folded up against a wall or something.
Okay. I'm going to unfold a wheelchair and suggest to the team, let's take her outside the door.
Well, hold on. You, Neffley, The nurse said that you'd tell us about your, you like to talk about your family. God, what'd they say? It was her great granddaughter?
As you're talking, her eyes snap to you for a split second, then go back to kind of staring at the door.
It's like an Alex?
Yeah. Alex, your great grandma. That name sound familiar?
Alexa?
As these names are being brought up and all that, I'm just kind of continuing to kind of get a read on her if I can.
Was it Alexandra? I think it was Alexandra.
Yeah, so whenever you talk to her, you elicit the same reaction, which is she looks at you for a split second, then goes back to kind of staring at the door.
Is the door open?
No, the door's closed.
I was just going to say, open the door.
We can't. It's locked in. We have to knock.
Okay, knock and let's open the door.
Oh.
Clearly there's something with her in the door right now. We not seen her eyes dart towards the door every time she finishes looking at us?
Can I just like move the chair so that she's faced away from the door?
So you're going to physically turn her?
The chair she's in, the recliner, yeah.
Yeah. So you kind of it makes a loud sound and she kind of looks at you, focused for a few more seconds than normal, but kind of how far you're rotating her.
I mean, I'll do it a little bit and look at the other two, yeah, should I keep going or?
Yeah. So as you rotate her, her eyes will look at you and then snap back to the door again. If you rotate her 90 degrees, her eyes kind of wind up staring out of the side of her eyes almost.
Okay, I think you're right. Let's get her out of here.
Are we allowed to? Because there's a nurse right outside, and I don't know if this is counting as abduction.
Not an abduction. We're not taking her, or she's still in the facility. We're just moving her outside this room.
Maybe there's something in here that might elicit a better response. Or can I go look at the door? Is there something weird with the door?
No, it's just a normal door. It's got some paperwork on the back of it.
I'll pull out the paperwork.
You're not a doctor, so it doesn't make too much sense to you, but it seems to be kind of a schedule, just check marks and kind of stuff being done throughout the day and whatnot.
You guys want me to get the door open?
Yeah.
I'll knock on the door.
Yeah, so you kind of hear some sound from outside, and Nurse Clark then kind of opens the door up and goes, freaky, right?
Yeah, she don't talk.
She don't talk during the day.
During the day?
Yeah.
We got to come back at night.
Oh, yeah, that's when the real weird starts, but can't appreciate the night without seeing her during the day.
Yeah, Dr. Edelman was telling us about how she apparently has a special friend who visits her at night.
Yeah, he's kind of paraphrasing that one wrong, but yeah, it's not so much that he's visiting her, it's that she talks about someone named Stephen Alziz and Club Apocalypse or some shit.
Does she leave the room much?
Does she leave the room? I've never seen her move. We have to carry her ass from that chair to bed every night.
I get that. I mean, does she ever get moved outside?
I mean, we used to take her for walks and stuff, and she gets her daily tour around the grounds in the wheelchair and stuff for, seeing nature and feeling the sun and that type of stuff. But
when's the last time she's had some sunlight, actually outside?
Grabs the paperwork off the wall, looks at it. This morning, apparently.
This morning? Are you sure or apparently? Those are two different things.
We take her for walks every day. Kind of checks the paperwork. I mean, someone could have lied on this, but she's one of the easiest patients we have. You put her in the chair, you go for a half-hour walk, you stop for a smoke break at some point. She's not going to tell anyone you broke the rules a little bit.
All right. I want to try something. You mind if I put her on the wheelchair and put her outside for a bit?
Oh, you're going to make me put her in the fucking wheelchair. I can get an orderly for that if you really want me to.
Yep.
But
we can do it. I just want to know that we can let her outside for a bit here.
Are you trained medical personnel?
Call an orderly. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure Yelena or the doctor would say some shit about liability or some stuff. Trust me, I'd like to let you do it, but I don't want to lose my job here. And yeah.
No, understandable.
Pulls out a phone, dials a number. Yeah, it'll be a few minutes. If you're hoping she has some big personality change when you get outside, she's not.
You said the name was Stephen Alzazi?
Alziz, apparently.
Alziz. Okay, thank you.
Apparently he throws crazy-ass parties or some shit.
Has she ever really gotten into detail? Was it here in Florida or was it somewhere else?
Even when she talks, she doesn't talk much. I don't know. Maybe she used to live in Florence or something. She kind of talks about that every once in a while, how much she misses Florence.
Stephen Alzey's club. I'm going to just kind of pop on my phone and do a couple searches on a Stephen Alzey's. Do I get anything back?
Yeah. Stephen Alzey's was at one point in time the owner of something called Club Apocalypse in New York.
Is there anything kind of interest with that, or is it just kind of like, hey, this is a guy?
I mean, it's a guy.
How long ago was Club Apocalypse running?
It was in the 90s.
The 90s? All right.
Early 2000s. The exact dates of Club Apocalypse are a little bit vague. Like, the last kind of mention you find of Club Apocalypse was 2007-ish. It was an underground club. Like, it was a very real but also kind of exclusive club of some type.
Okay, cool. Hey, Marshall, around what time does Miss Nuffley typically just starts kind of becoming a little bit more interactive? Or not interactive, but I guess a little bit more talkative? Is it kind of like usually like a sunset sort of situation from here?
Yeah. Once the sun gets below the horizon, she and a bunch of other residents get a little more lively.
I definitely made note of the fact that he said inmates originally.
Are there curtains?
Yeah.
In the room? Were they closed or open?
There was some kind of like translucent curtains that let some of the natural light into the room. Like, she was silhouetted by the light coming through the window.
Okay.
You could fully do like blackout curtains if you wanted, but like they're letting her have some daylight and stuff like that.
There's a part of me that wants to kind of utilize the blackout curtains and see whether or not the absence of natural light will kind of trigger that change of behavior. But I also don't want to treat this geriatric woman like a bird. So I think we'll save that for maybe a later visit in the evening. Query's a little conflicted that she had that thought now. So, Quantity, real quick, what are you trying to do? What's the plan right now?
Just get her outside for a bit.
Okay. Because I'm kind of feeling like we could probably trust Clark on this, in that she's not going to be as talkative at the moment. Or maybe, what are we hoping to kind of get? Just any kind of reaction?
Get her outside for a bit.
So a reminder, you're having this whole conversation with earshot of Clark. When you say kind of you can trust Clark, he kind of like raises his hands in like a what the fuck fashion. He's like, I can cancel the orderly right now if you don't want to deal with this shit.
No, sorry, hold up. Apologies, just having an aside. Could you give us a moment? Actually, real quick, she seems to have like a very specific fixation on the door. Is that like a thing that you've noticed?
Clark kind of lowers his hands slowly, but that's just kind of where she stares. It's kind of weird, but like, as far as weird behaviors go here, I'll take that over some other options.
Sorry, I didn't mean to like get in the way of your thought process, Quantity. I was just suddenly a little concerned about being responsible for an old lady. But I remember that there are actually professionals whose job this is, so I don't have to think about it too much.
Okay.
Kind of shrugs at that. Yeah, it's a retirement community. I get paid to be here and take care of all of them. Did you forget you're at a retirement facility? Are you doing okay? You sit down for a minute or two, maybe?
No, I'm doing okay. I just sometimes have a worry that just kind of takes over.
I mean, my understanding was cognitive decline's not contagious, but I also don't understand it all that well. So,
this might be just a little bit too much information, but sometimes I kind of have this worry as my own grandparents are getting kind of in that age and in that almost health state. And maybe it's just a little overwhelming right now, because I could just imagine my darling grandmama in Miss Nefelli's position. So excuse me for just being a little over emotional at the moment. I was just a little concerned.
Chances are most people aren't going to wind up in her state. She's one of our special guests, I guess, is the way of thinking about it. You okay? You need anything?
I think like a water bottle, I think would be kind of nice if the or is there a drinking fountain somewhere around here? Or
Nah, go get some water though. Yeah, give me 2 seconds. And kind of walks off down the hallway towards something. As he's walking, you hear kind of over the speakers the cancellation of the orderly thing, and you hear at the end of the hallway a door open, and then someone go, "God damn it!" from the other side of the door, then close the door, then assumably walk away.
Wait, they canceled the orderly?
I was saying that, like, to keep the orderly. Shit, hold up. Can I kind of follow after him and kind of ask to reorder the orderly?
Yeah.
Mr. Clark, Nurse Clark, I'm super sorry if there was a misunderstanding. We were, do I have eyes on him yet?
Yeah, you can see him. He's not like disappearing down the hallway or anything. He is moving at a pretty good clip, though.
Mr. Clark, super sorry about that on the misunderstanding. Was that orderly cancellation for us?
Kind of turns around. Yeah, sorry. Based on what you were saying, I figured you wouldn't want any more. I'll get him back.
Thank you.
Give me 2 seconds. I'll get that water. It's on his phone again. Calls the orderly, and you kind of hear a couple seconds pass, then a door opens up, and a very winded, large man steps through and just kind of looks at you like, "What the hell? Why are you doing this to me?"
Sorry about that. That was a slight breakdown in communication. My apologies.
It's okay. I gotta get my steps in somehow, I suppose.
I hear that.
We taking Victoria for a walk?
If you don't mind, could you just kind of get her onto the wheelchair? I mean, I don't know if you want to stick with us for a bit. We kind of just want to take her outside for a moment. Get her like just.
Oh, I can take Victoria for a walk. She's one of my favorites. So yeah, I got nothing better to do. I can give her a quick lap around the grounds.
Okay. You mind if we follow?
More the merrier. Someone to talk to, I suppose. She's not exactly the greatest conversationalist out there.
No, that's fine.
Nurse Clark comes back with a water bottle, hands it to Agent Query.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I just didn't mean to have that sort of that lapse.
Kind of shrugs. Happens. Weird place.
How long have you been working here by chance?
Oh, I've been here for a decent bit. Going on 10 years now. Started here at a nursing school. It's a strange place, but the benefits are good. The pay's decent. And I glanced around the hallway. It's not like we're in short demand here.
I mean, we do all have to get old sometime, right?
You know what they say, death and taxes.
Yep.
Do you particularly specialize in more critical care cases like this, or is it kind of like a generalized care focus that you've just kind of ended up with this position?
Oh, I'm just a nurse working in the higher risk areas, gets you a little bit more money. Kind of glances at the orderly and kind of nods at him. It's also a little bit, easier than the other parts. A lot of the residents here don't really, do much. They just kind of sit in their rooms and stare at things. And you go in, you make sure they're fed, you feed them a little bit, make sure they take their meds, and that's kind of it for most of them. Rudely kind of knocks his head a little bit. Not really a lot going on in this building.
Is Yana or Yan?
Jan, you
Jan.
mean Jan?
Yeah.
Yeah, the young dude.
The young dude? What do you mean young dude?
Dude's like 40 and he's here.
This is just an additional, it's not like a retirement facility. This is just kind of for any other, or for generalized ages with specific care needs. Did it make sense?
I mean, he's, I think, a special case or something. Generally speaking, to be a resident at Emerald Estates, you got to be like 55 or something, looks at the orderly for that, and the orderly kind of nods. We do have like an age minimum here for that type of shit. I don't know. Dude's weird. Not Victoria weird, but weird nonetheless.
Yeah. From what Dr. Edelman had told us, he thinks that there's monsters in the shadows.
Yeah. His room sucks.
Oh, is it in the tower?
Yeah, it's a couple things down, but if you want to take Victoria for a walk, you're going to have to take her for a walk soon. We got to do kind of the afternoon, evening stuff here. I don't know if you know this about old people, but they like to eat at like 4:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to delay any further. I just had some curiosities.
I mean, if you want to meet Jan, I can totally take you to meet Jan. I'm sure he'll love having some visitors closer to his own age. He doesn't get out much though either, if I'm being honest.
How long has he been here?
A few years at this point.
Quantity, quick draw, you think that's worth checking out after this walk?
You're the thinker, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, sure. And I kind of have this look on my face of like slight annoyance because I'm mainly like waiting for these tapes and whatnot so we can go investigate Manfred, but I'm not like pushing it at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, let's go for a walk.
Nurse Clark looks at the orderly. You good? Take him around for a walk. Page when you get back, and I'll take him to see Jan. Orderly kind of nods at this and kind of gestures at you. I can go get her now if you'd like.
Yeah, please do.
Kind of nods at that. Goes over, unlocks the door, kind of jams it open. You hear him unfold the wheelchair from inside. You hear kind of the sound of someone lifting something settling into kind of a fabric seat. And he comes out with her in the chair. All right, let's go for our walk now. One jaunt around the grounds, if that's okay with you, Victoria. And kind of takes you off towards the elevator.
As this is going on, I'm going to be observing Victoria's kind of like eye movements and just kind of any kind of reactions. That's going to be entirely my focus this whole time.
Yeah. So I will give you the option on this one. Do you want to kind of role play through this, or you just want to kind of summarize this? Because I'll be honest, not a lot's going to happen.
You can summarize it. That's fine.
Agent Query, do you drink from your water bottle at any point during this walk that you got given?
Yes, I do.
All right. Whenever you drink from it as you're kind of walking around the grounds, give me an alertness at -20.
Are you fucking kidding me? It's Florida humidity. I am from the good old dry heat of Sacramento, so I am trying to replenish all the sweat that I'm experiencing at the moment. I would imagine that I've drank it out of that water bottle. Like it's those tiny like 6 ounces, right?
It's like a full size normal water bottle.
It's a full size normal water bottle. All right. You know what? I'm gonna roll a 1d4 to see how many swigs I have taken out of that water bottle. Is that cool?
How about let's start with 1 and see where it goes from there?
Yeah. Okay, cool. I thought you were asking me if I finished it or something like that. Alertness at -20. Oops.
Oh.
Well, alertness at -20 would have been at 2%, but here we fucking go. 44 fumble out of a modified 2%.
All right, so you're kind of absent-mindedly just chugging from this thing as you kind of walk. Every few steps, you kind of take a deep swig until it's empty. Because you fumbled, we're not going to do the next dice roll on that, but you suddenly feel yourself feeling very calm. Like your anxieties are going down, like you're a little bit less on edge and tense and stuff like that.
Was this water bottle sealed before I drank out of it?
Only someone had made you roll an alertness check of some type when you start drinking from it.
Well then. Yeah, I'm placid as fuck.
For the record, you're not like functionally useless or anything. You're just much more relaxed all of a sudden. Maybe it's the nice Florida air. Maybe it's just kind of the nice leisurely walk around the grounds. Maybe it's the fact that, like, despite lots of weird things having happened, nothing like actually bad minus the house explosion have happened. As far as days at a retirement community go, nothing bad's really happened to you the entire time you've been here. That's the longest you've been okay since you got to Florida.
That is true. Yeah, I'm hard chilling.
Yeah, so it takes about half hour, 45 minutes to make your way around the grounds. Victoria's just kind of like eyes dead ahead, occasionally kind of like when there's a sound or sudden movement or something that would draw attention. Her eyes snap to it for a quick second, then kind of go back to just staring dead ahead. She is more or less unchanged. She says basically nothing. The orderly kind of chats politely about just some stuff. But doesn't want to say anything all that important or worthwhile kind of remembering. And yeah, then she get back to the building and you go back up to meet with Nurse Clark, or what's the plan at this point?
Yeah, I'm just kind of, if nothing really comes of it, my next thing was obviously still waiting to hear back on the tapes and the voicemail and all that stuff.
Yeah, you haven't heard anything back yet.
So what time is it now at this point after this walk?
We'll say like 3-4 in the afternoon. Sundown is not near, but you're getting closer to the afternoon type of thing. You do kind of start to see kind of the signs of getting people ready for dinner and whatnot.
Okay. Do they all eat in one like big kind of cafeteria thing, or do they all have individualized visits?
There's a couple options. Like you'd assume that people like Victoria probably eat in their room or have food brought to them or something like that. There are a couple kind of like dining halls, feels like the wrong phrase, but like eating options. Again, in the high security area that you've been walked around, it's much more controlled. Like you passed stuff outside of here that's just like normal restaurants and stuff. You're in a very controlled small chunk of the Emerald Estates. The rest of this kind of, calling it a company town, but kind of like corporately owned town, despite the fact it's catering towards the 55 plus crowd, is a functioning enough town type of thing. Like it's normal enough in many regards. Yeah, the dinner just starts happening at like 4:30, 5 o'clock. Yeah, you see some people start leaving to maybe go back out and have dinner out there or something. Like you see residents start to be kind of moved about. Again, because this is the high security area, you do see kind of more orderlies and nurses kind of emerge and start shuttling people around and stuff. And maybe it's time for meds. Like it's definitely kind of this is a peak of activity as you're getting towards the end of your walk.
Well, at this point, since we haven't gotten much, I figured I would go ahead and I would say let's go check out the chow hall, because we might run into was it Jan, the 40-year-old? We might see him over at that chow hall where they're like, not chow hall, but like the non-high security area, like if or non-high risk.
Clark described him as a high risk and a resident of the tower. So
okay.
Maybe you'll see him there, but based on your experience with Victoria's room, who knows? He did also offer to show you Jan.
Well, we might as well just go see Jan then.
Sure.
I'm down for whatever.
On behalf of all of us at Negative Modifier, thank you for listening, and we do hope you enjoyed this episode. If you are not already a subscriber, please consider becoming one, partially so you do not miss our next episode, but mostly because it helps new listeners find us. In addition to that, if you liked the episode, please consider clicking the thumbs up button below. If you'd like to further support the show, please consider joining us on Discord or becoming a Patreon patron.